In the next few minutes, let's dwell on sports a little just before we go. Cameroon are champions of the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations after beating Egypt 2-1 in the final in Libreville on Sunday night.
After Akaji opening, Egypt broke the deadlock in the first half through Mohamed El Neni.
Now, substitute Nicolas Nkolu brought the Cameroonians level in the 59th minute. All right, now the match looked to be headed to extra time, but in the 88th minute, another substitute, Vincent Abubakar, sealed the victory for the indomitable Lions. It is the 5th Afcon title for Cameroon, and Egypt still hold the record with 7 titles. All right, very charged atmosphere there in Libreville in Gabon. I must say, yesterday it wasn't, if everywhere from across the continent and all Africans across the world and sports lovers were all glued to their television. Sports lovers. Yeah, I know someone does. All right, I have joining us right now Babatunde Eludini, sports journalist. Babatunde, good morning.
Good morning.
Did you predict that Cameroon was going to win, or you gave it to Egypt?
For yesterday, actually, I gave it to Egypt because looking at the run to the finals, you look at the two teams and Cameroon were struggling as it were. Okay. Even before the tournament itself, they had their problems. Most of the players, they banked on, they chickened out at the last minute because they felt it was just an exercise in futility. We qualified, let's just go there and have fun. Nobody gave them a chance of coming that far, and when they got to the final, they took their chances, and here they are, champions again.
It was really a revenge game. You remember what happened in 2008
yes.
with the
it was a revenge, but many were hoping for a déjà vu because when you look at the two teams, Egypt has bigger names, so to say, than the Cameroonians. But there's one famous quote from the Cameroon coach that I think worked for them. He said he doesn't have 23 players. He has 23 friends.
23 friends, 23 exactly.
Friends playing for him. So when you look at the chemistry that these young lads have churned out together for themselves, I think it went a long way beyond their skill, beyond their knowledge of the game. The compactness that they have. Exactly, and the fact that they were not under pressure, because if they had lost in the quarterfinals, nobody would have blamed them. If they had lost in the semi-finals, so each game they took it as it came, and here they are, champions of Africa again.
Well, when it comes to, or in fact, let me say that the indomitable Lions will be facing Nigeria in the qualifier for World Cup. What you saw there, the game plan, the strategy, the tactic, and all of that, do they have what it takes to stop Nigeria?
I think Nigeria would actually be on their toes now. Before now, you know, the first 2 games they played, they got an away draw in Algeria, and many thought they are going to roast Zambia at home, but it ended.
I like the word roast.
But it ended in a draw. So Nigeria was already having the confidence that we have 2 games coming against them, home and away. If we could get the right result in that game, then Russia is around the corner. But with what we've seen in Gabon, I'm sure the players themselves, the federation know that more work has to be done. You can't take them for granted because they are high on confidence as it were right now.
All right, between the Burkina Faso and Ghana, who were you rooting for?
Actually, I was rooting for Burkina Faso because the way they exited the semi-final was quite painful. You know, they dragged into penalties, and they had the advantage just for the naivety of the goalkeeper that maybe wanted to take the shame, the fame, but he ended up playing his kick into his opposite's hands. The way they lost in that semi-final gave me a little bit of sympathy for them, that these guys could have made it to the final. And for Ghana, you know, Ghana were beating 2-0 against Cameroon, so it wasn't a question of maybe luck. They just couldn't match their Cameroonian counterpart on the night. So I knew Burkina Faso would want the 3rd place more. Okay. Ghana had the trophy in 35 years. It's a long time. So once they didn't get the trophy, I knew the way they will take the third place won't be as serious as Burkina Faso would have done.
Because it's okay. But let's talk about the Cameroonian goalkeeper. Is one of the youngest in the entire tournament, 19 years old. What kind of
in comparison to that of Egyptian, who is the
oldest? The oldest, exactly. So it's North Pole against the South Pole.
I think he has done so well for himself, and it's surprising to know that he doesn't get playing time in his club. What has happened now is two things. Is either the clubs begin to take him more serious and give him playing time, or they lose him to other clubs that are interested in his services. Everybody was already looking at Sunday's final that this would go into another penalty kicks, and they were waiting to see whose heroics who will outshine either other. Is it the older folk or the
or the younger one?
But as it happened, we didn't need to wait all night. The game was decided.
The young star emerged. Okay, so out of the players, the Cameroonians and the Egyptian, which one stood out for you?
Well, I think, like I said, for the Cameroon team, it wasn't the big stars that we expected. As much as 8 players pulled out, believing that why do I want to go? Let me just stay with my club and keep my regular shirt. But like you said, the goalkeeper, of course, is one of the standouts in the Cameroon team, because even if not for him in the first place, they wouldn't have gone that far. As early as the group stage, they could have been knocked out. He made some fantastic saves against Gabon, and that was what helped them into the quarterfinal against Senegal. When everybody was hoping Mane would just bury the ball, he was able to stop that. So for me, he is actually my pick from Cameroon. For Egypt, we look at Salah, we look at Eleni. As a team, I think they did well for themselves, and after this Afcon tournament, I'm sure they'll be looking forward to qualifying for Russia, which is the next big team for them.
All right, now before we go, when it comes to organizing Afcon, for every single year, from your assessment, is there an improvement or it's just flat?
For me, 2017 wasn't much of an improvement when you look at the pitches, when you look at some other organization factors. Well, you might want to say Gabon was an afterthought. They were in the original host for the tournament. So based on that, you can still cut them some slack. But when you look at the general, we've had better Nations Cup, particularly in the North African countries. So going forward, I think CAF has to do more. And for Cameroon, they are the next host of the tournament. They have the CAF president as the CAF president is from Cameroon. So I'm sure they will want to put up something, a spectacle of some sort. And if you look at how they hosted the women version, the Afcon, AWCON, I think they did very well in that regard. So I think it was just a tip of what to expect in 2019, which I think will be a better.
Our beloved Nigeria is there.
We'll be looking and be watching to see how things unfold. Babatunde Eludini, thanks for coming on the program this morning. Thank you. Right, this is where we come to the end of today's edition of the program. Tomorrow we'll be back again to discuss other issues. But meanwhile, don't forget that we're bringing you updates on the protests so far in Surulere, Lagos, and the Unity Fountain in Abuja. If the people go ahead, we'll let you know what's going on there. I am Mike Okwacha. Have a great day ahead.
And I am Busola Mitsuwashi. Bye for now.